Well, good morning. Cindy Eriks here with Eriks Environmental Consulting, Tallahassee, Florida. And I want to talk to you today about some things that I've had conversations with customers about recently, and it's just, and friends alike actually. The topics have to do with mold exposure, people getting sick from mold, people just getting sick. And I had a customer the other day that I spoke to, and very frequently I'll recommend a book that's very close to my heart as far as share information I needed. I got because when I needed it, right? And it's a book by Dr. Neil Nathan, and it's called Toxic: Heal Your Body from Mold Toxicity, Lyme Disease, Multiple Chemical Sensitivities, and Chronic Environmental Illness. Now, Dr. Nathan is retired from practice, but he teaches functional medicine doctors about everything that he's learned over the past many years. I think it's been probably about 30 years or maybe 35 years. And autoimmune diseases are like off the charts. Like, so many people have an autoimmune disease where your body's like attacking itself. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Mold exposure just adds to it. I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to diagnose anything or give you medical advice, but I just want to share with you that you need to do your own research. You need to study. Your doctors don't know. Some doctors do, but they're few and far between. And even the ones that do have information don't have enough information because they're busy, very busy in practice, and they can't do all the reading and learning that they need to. And there's a whole lot of science that has occurred in the past 30 years that mainstream medical doctors aren't receiving because pharmaceutical companies have taken over a lot of the teaching of the doctors. And for instance, to reboard certify, like Bayer, I think I read it 3 years ago or so, 3 or 4 years ago, that Bayer wrote the manual for the doctors to reboard certify. Some specialties, the doctors have to reboard certify every 5 years. And in these medical books, I've not seen it for myself, but I've heard that the instructions in the guidebooks for the doctors say if a patient presents with XYZ symptom, then you got to give them this prescription. If they present with CLD, you give them that prescription, and so on and so forth. It's prescription after prescription after prescription. So I'm here just to briefly talk about, that's a starter book, Dr. Neil Nathan's book. I went to it during a time where I was having a lot of brain fog. I was in a big detox mode from doctor I was seeing, a nurse practitioner I was seeing. I had found out that I had a bunch of viruses in my body that I didn't even know I had them. One of them was Lyme disease, which I'm really thankful that I don't have the symptoms that most people get from having Lyme disease in their body. But being a mold assessor and being exposed to mold my whole career, basically, before I even knew mold was a problem. I've been inspecting buildings for 32 years, and I know that musty smell, and that musty smell is common mold spores proliferating in high humidity conditions to proliferate off of whatever they can feed off of. And there's mold in the outside air in a lot of places like Tallahassee and the southeast. However, it's when the mold gets in very, very high numbers indoors and then you breathe it, touch it, that's when it becomes harmful for you. And then certain molds that are water damaged, which is why, if you've seen any of my other videos, why I say if your sheetrock gets wet, your carpet pad get wet, take it out and toss it. Don't try to dry it. Anyway, because in Florida we're so humid there that mold grows very quickly, despite what some people will say. especially insurance companies. And so a lot of people wait on insurance companies to give the approval to tear out materials, and if they're wet, they need to go. Wood can be dried in place, sheetrock cannot. Carpet and pad. Sometimes the carpet can be pulled out to be dried, but the pad has to go, and then the drying has to occur to the concrete. And the wood, without blowing air all around the place, because it'll cross-contaminate. But anyway, kind of digressing from my purpose, when I started the video, I was thinking more in terms of the multitude of contaminants that we are exposed to on a daily basis. Mold can certainly be one of them, but there are so many more in our drinking water, in our food supply, in our plastic containers. In fact, I learned just the other day, I thought this was a good plastic container to use, and because it didn't have one of the contaminants, but apparently it has other contaminants. I just learned from Dr. McCullough about that. So glass and stainless steel are your best options for drinking out of, and highly filtered water, which I do drink highly filtered water. And if you go to the Environmental Working Group, EWG.org, they have on their site, you can type in your zip code and you can find out what your water supply looks like in most places in the United States. And I was shocked that my town, who proclaimed to have the best drinking water for the last 20 years, they don't have such good drinking water, actually. So I would implore you to take a look at that and consider highly filtered water to remove all or most of the toxins out of your water supply, including the chlorine and fluoride. But so many of our drinks, there's a citric acid that's in a lot of things. There's a citric acid that's actually made from mold. I learned that a few years ago. The plastic, things that are wrapped in plastic, packaged in plastic, actually get into the food. They're finding microplastics in heart and bloodstream and different organs of the body, and really causing damage to wildlife big time. The plastics, I'm sure you've heard about that before. But there are so many pesticides and glyphosate, and there's so many things. Fragrances. Oh, I could talk about this, and I do frequently talk about fragrances, which I was doing some graduate studies in environmental science in 2012, and I took a toxicology class, and I learned that these fragrances, like a lot of people have these air fresheners that get plugged into the wall. You have spray air fresheners. Anything that's an air freshener, just toss it. The only thing that you can really freshen the air with would be, and first of all, you got to find out why you need to freshen the air, right? What's not fresh about it? You need some fresh air. Is there something there that's causing the air to smell? Get rid of it, whatever it is. If it's mold, remove it. If it's garbage, remove it. If it's body waste, remove it, of course, right? So we need to bring fresh air into, and that's another thing. I mean, I could talk about that for like an hour, about the tightness of our homes and how there is no fresh air, and everything's off-gassing, and all our building materials are off-gassing, and that's causing more chemical exposure in our bodies. But bringing in fresh air while keeping the humidity at 55% is really, really important, and most people don't want to bother with the time it takes and the effort that it takes to do that, but it is really important if you're concerned about your health. So remove fragrances. We have in our dish liquids, in our dishwasher detergent, in our laundry detergent, in our fabric softeners, in our shampoo, in our body wash, in our body lotions, in our sunscreen. Everything has a fragrance to it. Think about your clothing. You wear your clothing, you're wearing the fragrance. Your skin is your largest organ in your body, right? And your skin absorbs the chemicals that are in your laundry detergent and fabric softener. There's been all kinds of hormone disruptions, cancers. I mean, the list is long. Like, look at how sick our society is. It's sick because there's like 80,000 chemicals that, federal government doesn't regulate or doesn't require any testing on. And it's causing really bad illnesses and a lot of people sick and dying. And we're such a sick society. You'd think we'd be more healthy. Well, we're not more healthy because there's so many chemicals. But there are ways to work around it, but it takes an effort. And it doesn't really cost much more money. It may cost less money. I have products that I sell that I clean with no chemicals in them. I've been doing that since about 2016, where there's no chemicals in what I clean with. And there's no chemicals in what I wash my body with. There's no chemicals in my shampoo or my conditioner or my toothpaste or my drinking water. So we have to avoid chemical exposures. And starting out with Dr. Neil Nathan's book is a good start, but there's a lot of other resources out there. There's a lot of good functional medicine doctors. And there's a lot of good research. There's science behind all of it. And so I implore you to take a closer look today, stand up for your own health, don't count on a doctor, because this one person is not going to have all the answers. And if they have a very active practice, they're probably don't have the time to learn everything that's out there. I know none of us have the time, but start investing in understanding what's good and bad. There's just a lot of things harming us that we can protect ourselves, and we could be healthier. We could definitely be healthier people. What we eat, what we drink, what we breathe, and what we allow to touch our body. So I hope this is helpful. I have several books. You go to CindyEricks.com. I had a little blog over there, and I had a bunch of books listed about autoimmune disease, which I found really helpful, and it helped me get rid of type 2 diabetes and lose 85 pounds. And so you can go and check that out. I'll try to update that soon because there are more books probably that I probably want to reference there. But just look out for yourself. Look out. Be your own advocate. Be your own advocate. God bless you.